Welcome to the Ghostbusters, kid.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Justin M. Bailey here. Let me just get this out of my neck. Oh, there we go. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin M. Bailey, and yes, that name signifies I am psychotically obsessed with Metroid and Super Metroid, along with Earthbound. Those are the three games, the lens I actually look at most things, or in the least the creative process, which I'm very much about. And I want to ask you something today. I want you to just think about this for a sec, like a thought exercise. I want you to think of the things in your life that have spoken to you. Now, what the hell do I mean by that? People are speaking to us all constantly, even for God's sake, our smartphones and smart devices, they speak to us. What I mean is something in your life, as soon as you stumbled upon it or discover it, it's like something just clicked. Like a switch just turned on your head and you're just like instantly. Something so much more, I would say, than love. It's just something very deep at your core. Suddenly, this thing, is speaking to you. And to give you an example of what I mean here, what I'm trying to get at, the things that have spoken to me in my life, that have totally clicked, and I've never been the same because of it. First of all, at 5 years old, this thing called video games, you might be familiar with it. It's so many people in my generation and each generation following. For most of us, video games just click with us. They speak to us. But me, even more so, RPG video games. Above all other video games I played, especially my adolescence, those ones made the most sense. They spoke to me. We can go further. I was a correction officer for 6 years. That place was cuckoo crazy, which might also be why I fit in there so well. But that place, there's a lot about that spoke to me too, that actually made a lot of sense. I'm super happy not to be there anymore, and nor do I ever want to go back. But yes, there was something very primordial about that place. Long of the short of this, I've always loved martial arts, but jiu-jitsu made total sense to me. Writing, I'm a huge writer. Nobody reads my stuff, but that's okay. But super into writing, and then finally making YouTube videos. These things click. And I think what I really want to expand upon this, which also ties back to, I call myself Justin M. Bailey. Certain things click with you, and like little Samus going down in Planet Zebes fighting monsters, it unlocks things in you. Now, does it unlock a nice little spin attack or more super missiles or what have you? No, but it does. It just, I guess since this is what I'm about to talk to, like in a pinball game, a ball bouncing around, bing, 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 and the lights are going off. That's what it's doing to you. So yes, the thing I discovered last year and has joined my list of psychotic obsessions is pinball. Pinball is profound to me. Just, yes, that little ball bouncing around my noggin, ding, 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 ding.
Bad dog.
And all the lights going off. Which I will also say explains why I find so many people so annoying and boring, because most people's noggins, if you ask me, it's just Pong. It's just boring old Pong, and maybe my noggin has trouble finding the right direction. There's a lot more going on. Bing, 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 pong, 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 pong. Yes, pinball. And if you're watching this and going like, huh, pinball? That's a grandpa's arcade machine. Tuh, a grandpa's arcade machine. They are not metal. They are acoustic instruments. Well, I totally get that, because up until a year ago, I felt the same way. As a little kid, arcades, along with rental stores, were the greatest thing ever, period. And whenever I would go to the arcade to play anything, usually beat-em-ups, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Spider-Man, whatever, I would always play other games. And I would always, probably maybe at least once, play pinball, but it was nothing more than a novelty. Up until recently, I never liked games where it wasn't about beating the game. It was just about getting the highest score possible. And I know technically you can beat games like Donkey Kong eventually, but who the heck does that, It's like someone actually completing a game of Monopoly. A very, very small percentage of people actually ever do it. So what has changed? Well, first off, just continuing to talk about arcades. I love Lake George. I live in upstate New York. Upstate New York is fantastic. And one of the fun places to go in the summer, if you do live in upstate, or anywhere in the nearby area, New England, what have you, is Lake George. It is one of the oldest tourist attractions in all of upstate New York. Thomas Jefferson was a fan of the place. And now it's kind of like the Casa Bonita of upstate New York. It's got a nice, scary House of Wax museum. And cliff jumpers, and, well, not cliff jumpers, but you can jump off cliffs. And it's a really fantastic, lovable, one-of-a-kind tourist trap. I don't want to use the word trap, but you know what I'm talking about. and it has 3 fully functioning arcades. Most places, it's hard to find 1, let alone 3. Count them, 1, 2, 3. And I'm always super excited to find any kind of an arcade whatsoever, except for Dave & Buster's. My wife actually likes Dave & Buster's. I like going with her. But the problem is, and I'm sure a lot of us find, whenever we're lucky enough to discover an arcade, there's hardly any classic games whatsoever, except for maybe a Donkey Kong, a Pac-Man, or a Galaga or something. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, up until recently, I have not enjoyed those games whatsoever. So last year, I'm bouncing around Lake George like a pinball, just happy to be free of a night all by myself, just run around like a lunatic and do whatever I want and have fun. And so last June, I finally got to do that for 2 evenings, and I decided to sit down and just play some pinball, some Ghostbusters pinball, because I'm sorry, but as much as I love seeing arcades, there's only so much skee-ball you can play, and Flippy Bird just doesn't do anything for me, or Flappy Bird, or whatever the heck it's called. But I played the bejeebus out of that Ghostbusters pinball game. I was just getting such a charge out of it. Unlike every other time I've played pinball, every other time I've played pinball. And first of all, as the little I know about pinball, the Ghostbusters one just seems like a fantastic machine. Like, they also had a brand new Star Trek machine at another arcade, and that was fun, but that just didn't compare to the Ghostbusters one to me. Not to mention that they also had a classic Terminator 2 pinball machine. That was really cool. So suddenly for me, for lots of reasons, I was just like, I think I fucking like me some pinball. I've been obsessed with it ever since. And I don't have a pinball machine, but I play it a lot on my Switch. I love the Ghostbusters one. I like the Star Trek one. Phantom of the Opera is really cool. By the way, if anybody wants to lead in the comment section below, I'm really confused because a lot of the picks on that Stern Pinball collection makes total sense. Some of them feel totally random though. Like, why is there a Starship Trooper one on there? Or a Frankenstein, or a Last Action Hero, for God's sake. Why is there a Last Action pinball machine on that system? Is it somehow more memorable than the movie, which is not hard? Last Action Hero, everyone. The Final Fantasy IX of Arnold Schwarzenegger films. That will make 0 sense unless you watch my previous video. So if anybody wants to leave down the comments below, I would like to know that, because it does seem random. But I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So I'll conclude, and what's important about this? And first of all, I'll throw out there right now, I'm going to talk about pinball every now and then too, and the many other things I like to talk about on this channel, because I want to get my hands on my own pinball machine. I want to, because the thing is, when you really want to learn pinball in a real machine, anywhere you go, whether it's a bar or a laundromat, I was lucky enough to find a couple of pinball machines in my neighborhood. Every time somebody's going to come bother you. And if you don't know this about me yet, I don't like people bothering me.
I will f***ing murder you!
I don't, especially when I'm trying to do something. So I want a pinball machine for the privacy of my own home, but they're super expensive. They cost like the same amount as a Volkswagen Beetle, not a Beagle, but a Beetle. So there's that. And otherwise, just to tie it all up, so why is it that pinball is now speaking to me? Why is it clicking with me when it never has before? Well, I thought about it a lot, and I simply feel that, first of all, check out the subscriber count on this channel. I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, and I have, like 118 right now or something? That alone has got to be a record. So clearly, I am horrible. I am horrible at YouTube. I'm one of the worst at it, ever. I'm also really horrible at pinball. It's terrible. But it's fun. It's fun because it's challenging and it's different. I love making YouTube videos, and I love writing novels too. Anybody wants to give my novel a try, you can go check that out on my page. I audio recorded a bunch of chapters, and it's just, that is one of the biggest things I've gotten out of all these years of writing and making YouTube videos. Yeah, it's really tough, and I barely ever get up. But the rewards seem to be that even if you're not getting any claps or any dinero, what you are getting is by doing this, and by pushing you through this and challenging yourself to try many different things, it makes all the lights up here, and I would even say right in here, start to flicker and go off.
Music on! His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. Who's that? It's him, James Cameron.
It starts to wake up stuff inside you, but I'll never say woke, because that is such a mean, aggressive sounding word, don't you think? So it's like, and that, I think, is actually one of the biggest rewards you can get. Once again, tying it all together, the name, Justin M. Bailey. Metroid. It's about seeking internal treasure. Not just external, and God knows I want external treasures. You have no idea. Oh, yes, So that's where I'm going, and that is also, if you're new, that is the point of this channel. I'm trying to do everything I can to continue to make all sorts of little lights and bulbs flicker that were off before. I'm doing this for enlightenment, which is an incredibly heavy word, I know. Can you get enlightenment through a pinball machine? I don't know, but it's fun to find out. I'm Justin M. Bailey. Thank you for listening. Bye. Oh, there we go.
You are superior.
Music on! His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. Who's that? It's him, James Cameron.